Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley412, and today we're going to be looking at this 5-game early slate on Draftkings. We're going to have a separate video out for the main slate happening later in the day, so make sure you go and check that one out as well. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, comment. It really does help us out at providing all this free content for you guys for all the main slates as well as the early slates that go on. So make sure you do that. It really does help us out. So what we'll do is we'll go through the pitchers here, kind of one by one, and then we'll go through the games and just kind of talk about which bats kind of stand out here for us. But right up at the top, Greinke 9.8K. We've seen this trend throughout the season on DraftKings. I don't know if it's happened in previous seasons, but it's really stood out this season more than others. Of if there's a small slate and there's only one or two pitchers that kind of have that like ace potential. I know Greinke's not, I want to consider him an ace, but two solid pitchers, they really hike up their salary. And I think that's what's happened here with Greinke. I think he's more of a guy who should be around like the high 8K range, more around like the 8.9, 8.7, wherever that is. But you know, his strikeout rate is just not there. It's not of somebody who should have their salary being close to 10K. He's got 4 or fewer strikeouts in 9 of his past 10 starts. He's only got an 18% strikeout rate in the past couple of months. So it's just not there. He's allowing a home run in 9 of his past 10 starts as well, as you can see. And when you're allowing all these home runs and all these earned runs and you're not striking anybody out, this is what you kind of get. You kind of get game logs that are kind of in the teens and not much upside, because when you're allowing those earned runs, and you get those negative points, you're not getting the strikeouts to kind of counteract that and kind of save yourself. So Greinke, you know, he's in a nice ballpark. He's going against San Francisco. We know the injuries that they have here. But still, it's tough to get interested in Greinke at this price tag. Wood, right below him, I have much greater interest in. He's going up against Houston, so obviously that is a slight knock against him. But Houston in the past month, they've actually struggled quite a bit against left-handed pitching. They're a bottom half offense against left-handed pitching in the month of July. So they struggle against left-handed pitching. They strike out quite a bit. They're a top 10 strikeout team against left-handed pitching. So things are kind of looking in Wood's favor, especially compared to Greinke. Wood's strikeout rate is way higher than Greinke's. You can kind of see, you know, 8.76, 8.8. It's way higher. So I prefer Wood over Greinke, all things considered, on this slate. Yarbrough, the main concern we had with Yarbrough throughout the season has kind of been he only goes like 5 innings, but he seems to have kind of gotten rid of that, and he didn't have a very high pitch count, but now, you know, they really stretched him out. He's able to go triple digits now. So I think we can kind of throw that out of the mix. But he's going up against Boston. He faced Boston one time this season. Negative points, just did not do well. So we know what the Boston lineup, you know, it's full of all those heavy right-handed power bats. So you're looking at like Kiki, and you're looking at JD Martinez and Xander Bogaerts, and really all their best hitters are righties. I mean, Devers is a lefty, but you know, I like Boston against left-handed pitching. So Yarbrough, I'm kind of not on. I'd rather go up to Wood or down to Eovaldi, our next guy. Miami, I don't think. Well, I don't think there is no starter confirmed for Miami here, so I don't think it's going to be Rogers. But you can kind of see in the analysis here, it says the Marlins have made it known that they intend to monitor the workloads of their young pitchers in the second half. So whoever is starting, make sure you have that knowledge of, you know, they're kind of looking to limit their starting pitchers and save them for who knows what. But Eovaldi, I love Eovaldi here. He's in great form. He might be in the best form of any of the pitchers on the slate, to be honest. He's got a nice matchup going up against Tampa Bay, a team who does strike out quite a bit. And Eovaldi, he's got nice strikeout upside. His strikeout rate is the second highest on the slate among the pitchers, and he just does not walk anybody. It's pretty amazing with how much he's been limiting walks and compared to how much he's been striking guys out. 3 out of his past 5 starts, he's going into the 7th inning or later, so you know he's going deep into games. We love that. I at 8.2K, I think he's a great play. Eovaldi is probably going to be a very popular cash combination. At least I think it should be. But who knows? We'll see. There's been some surprises here over the past week or so, but things are going well. John Means, he returned from injury a couple starts ago. I think less than 2. Yeah, 2 starts ago, and did not do well in either of them. You can see even before his return, he was having an issue with letting up the long ball. It's going up against Detroit. Detroit's been doing very well against left-handed pitching. They are the opposite of Houston. They've been doing very well against left-handed pitching. So I like Detroit. It's kind of an offense here. This game has one of the highest over-unders on the slate. So I will be interested in the bats from this game. So I don't have any interest in John Means here, especially until he can kind of return back to his form of this, which we have not seen since he went into injury and the return from injury. Cole Irvin, he is an interesting play, in my opinion, just because, the Angels do very well against left-handed pitching. We know that by now. You can split the splits. Can you say that? Can you split the splits to like full season stats or just the past 2 months or the past month? The Angels are consistently an elite offense against left-handed pitching. But they just can't score against Oakland. So they've got back-to-back shutouts, or the offense. The Angels offense has been shut out in back-to-back games here. They've lost 7 straight games against Oakland. They're only averaging like 2 or 3 runs in those games against Oakland. It's just not there. But the offense is in bad form. They apparently hate Oakland. But like I said, they are great against left-handed pitching. So Irvin is flip a coin. I don't know. I don't know on this one, to be honest. I mean, I like his price tag at only 7.3K. But like I said, Angels, nice against the lefties. They've been struggling as of late. So who knows? It remains to be seen. I think he's I'm still debating it, even as the video goes on here, as you can see. Herman, he had that no-hitter that went so deep into the game, and then the Yankees bullpen blew it. It was fantastic. So Herman, take out that incredible game he had last time out, and he's just like an average to below average pitcher here lately. It's been pretty gross. He hasn't. 6.5K. It's nice. I mean, if you want to throw a dart there, go for it. I think I might even lean Irvin over him, but like he's got a nice start or a nice matchup here, so kind of like that. Berea and Manning, not really any interest in Berea at all. Manning, I think I have more interest than Berea. Manning, he doesn't really strike out many guys. He's going to get you 4 or fewer strikeouts in the game, but he's going up against Baltimore. Baltimore, we know, can strike out quite a bit. But I think I just like his price tag more than anything. 4.8K or 4.7. If he can get you 10 points, awesome. So it can really help you load up on the bats. But honestly, I don't think you really even need to go down to this level. I mean, I see you can. There's definitely more than enough bats that are priced up high enough to do it, but I don't think you need to. So Wood and Eovaldi are probably my favorite 2 pitchers here. And then I would go with Greinke, then Yarbrough, and then probably Irvin. I would probably go with Irvin as the 5th guy there. So let's go to the bats. Houston and San Francisco. Don't really have much interest in the bats in this game here. It's 2 solid pitchers. I said I wasn't too interested in Greinke, but compared to all the other pitchers on the slate, he still is a fine option. I just don't like the price tag on him. So the bats in this game, I have very limited interest in. Obviously, you'd be going with your usuals, your Gurriels. If I was going to go with a San Francisco bat, I would definitely go with Crawford here with that lefty-righty matchup and just what he's been able to do this season. So not really interested in the bats in that game. Oakland, I have a lot of interest in Oakland going up against Berea. Berea had a great last start out. but he still is a below average pitcher. You know, he struggled in the minors. His ERA in the minors was close to 5 itself. So, you know, Oakland, I think, has one of the higher implied run totals on this slate. So definitely interested in what they can do. I'm looking at Marte. I'm looking at Lowry for sure. Andrews is cheap, possibly batting in the top of the order there. Kanha, he's kind of the third guy. I kind of, if you're going to go with an Oakland stack, just kind of build around these guys here. Olsen, you know, lefty righty, always interesting. He hits lefty pitching a lot better, oddly enough. So, but I would definitely go with Lowry, Marte, and Kanha as kind of the 3 that I would build around in an Oakland stack. The Angels, I think the Angels are a nice GPP play, just because their offense has been struggling so much, getting shut out back-to-back games. I don't think they're going to get much ownership here, but they do well against left-handed pitching. So the guys I would be targeting here are Fletcher, who's hitting over 400 against left-handed pitching in the past month. It's just he's on a tear. It's incredible, and he was only like 2.8K, I think, at the start of July. So definitely interested in Fletcher. And then your 2 guys I would be going with are Iglesias and Gosselin. Gosselin's kind of in that middle of the order, 2.9K. I think he's in a nice spot. All these guys hit very well in terms of batting average. And, you know, there might be some pop or some stolen base upside as well. So these are kind of the 3 that I would build around. You can kind of see they are banged up a lot, but definitely building around these 3 if I was to be going with an LA Angels stack. Yankees, kind of a letdown last night. Everybody, well, not everybody, but they were pretty popular last night. I think people saw the moves that they made with their offense. That 1 through 5 is pretty crazy right now. But I don't know. It's tough to get excited about their Yankees just because they just seem to disappoint you every single time you play them. Or at least that happens to me. Hope it doesn't happen to you, but it happens to me. But you'd be going with your usual guys for the Yankees here if you were to play them. Again, I don't know who the Miami starter is. That's still not confirmed. And on the Miami side, you know, not really too interested. I'm just not really interested in the bats in this game. I know I don't like Herman. I know I don't like the Miami pitcher, but I don't really like the bats either. I just feel like this is a game that I just kind of want to look away from. Boston going up against Yarbrough. You're going to go with your typical righties. Xander, Kike, and JD Martinez, obviously your top 3. They've been priced down quite a bit here. So I don't think salary is going to be too much of an issue at all. But so you could be able to fit them in just fine. So I do like Boston going up against Yarbrough. Tampa Bay on the other side, I don't really have any interest, just because I do like Eovaldi. He's probably one of my favorite pitchers on the slate, top 2 pitcher. But if I did go with Tampa Bay, Choi's been doing nice. I'd be going with Choi, Meadows, and Lowe would be kind of like the 3rd guy in. I'd go with Choi and Meadows first, Lowe next, just because of that really high price tag. I think he might be slightly better than the other 2 options, but not 1,500 more than the other 2 options. So those would be the 3 I'd go with on Tampa Bay. And then this final game, this Boston-Detroit game, I think this is the highest total on the slate, which isn't saying much because it's not, I don't think it's at double digits. I don't think any of the games are. But Baltimore, Detroit definitely have interest in both of these sides here. With Detroit, Miguel Cabrera, he could be a great value option for you at just 3.3. And I think first base is kind of a spend down spot today. You know, you have those nice guys like Cabrera and you have Gosselin at 2.9K. They provide a lot. They're both hitting very well. They're both super cheap and they're both on pretty decent offenses as well. So Cabrera, he's actually hitting 368 against left-handed pitching this season, the whole season, 368. He kind of has been a forgotten guy in the past couple seasons, but you know, he apparently is still able to hit the ball pretty well against lefties. So I like Cabrera here. And after that, I'd be going with guys like Willie Castro and then Hassan Scoop. You got to be interested in it as well. But, you know, Scoop's got the first, second base eligibility. So you got to figure out what you want to do there. But those are kind of the 4 guys that I'd be interested in Detroit. And on the Baltimore side, it's your usuals. I have much more interest in the Detroit side than in the Baltimore side. Let me lose. Much more interest in the Detroit side than the Baltimore side. But on Baltimore, it's your usual guys. It's Hayes, it's Mullins, Mancini, Mountcastle. Severino, had him in cash last night for his double home run day, which was great. He's a nice play. Urias, however you pronounce it, he's got pretty good numbers. All things considered, against right-handed pitching. So he's definitely a guy that you could be looking at as kind of a salary saver as well. So that kind of wraps things up on this slate. Pitching, I think you're going to be going with Wood, or at least I'm probably going to be going with Wood. And Eovaldi is like my top two, most exposure. Greinke, like, he's a nice pitcher, don't get me wrong, but 9.8K is just too high. He just doesn't have the strikeout upside that we want. Yarbrough, he's going deeper into games, but a tough matchup. Means no. Berea, no. Irvin, Herman, Manning, I think you could roll with him if you want. And then for the bats, Oakland, probably my favorite. Detroit, probably next. Baltimore there. Boston, and then the Angels, I think, are a nice GPP play as well. So as always, good luck in your contest. Remember, we do have a separate video out for the main slate, so go check that one out as well. Hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out, and we will see you in the next video.